My name is Lisa Lake, and my pronouns are she or they. And I was about to say, and I'm your volunteer worship associate, but I am not today. So the title for my sermon today is The Prodigal Son. It's an often used parable from the Bible, and I know how some of you feel about the Bible, but it's got some really great stuff in it, so hang on. Who knows the story of the prodigal son? Well, almost everybody. There's a few people who doesn't. Okay, so for those of you who don't, here's the abbreviated version. A farmer has two sons. The older son is hardworking and follows the rules. The younger son is restless and asks that his inheritance be given early so he can go live in the big city and party his way through his money. He doesn't include that in the ask, but he comes home after going broke, asks for forgiveness, and the father welcomes him with a celebration. The older son is like, "You never give me a celebration. What is going on? And I always did what was right, and I don't get squat." So, who of you identifies with the older brother? I do a little bit. Who identifies the most with the younger brother? I'm definitely a black sheep. I'm an only child too, so I can identify with both of them. It's a little confusing, but I get there. Who identifies with the father? Anybody had this kind of situation with some kids or people they love? All right. So I want you to think about what character you identify with, and why you think there is a problem or a concern with the behavior of the other characters. So as we're going through the service today, I don't want you to focus on what you relate to as much maybe as what you think are the problems with the other people.
We are going to be doing a skit today. It is inspired by Benjamin Lay. He was an abolitionist, a Quaker abolitionist who did performance pieces and protest art in front of his church. So that's what we're inspired by today. Hello, my name is Tamlin. Nice to meet all of you. I use they, them pronouns, and my accessibility need today is I have some airborne allergens, but I'll let you know when it is going to affect me. I'm so glad to meet all of you.
So glad to have you here. We are such a welcoming congregation.
Oh, apologies, but I'm actually allergic to the fabric that you're wearing. Your scarf is very cool, but if you could place it in a bag while we're in community together, I would appreciate that.
Well, this is clearly a boa, not a scarf, and it is my favorite. And besides, I've never heard of this allergy before. Is it even a real one?
Well, it is real, and it causes me shortness of breath and hives when I'm around it. So if you could not wear this certain item around me, I would be able to continue to share space with you.
Well, all this sounds pretty made up to me. And I really think you should reconsider maybe your behavior and be a little bit more considerate while you're in our congregation.
Whoa.
Oh, wow, that was so intense. Man, I hope you're still planning on volunteering with me next weekend. Because, everyone says that Tamlin, she's just so helpful, and she just does so much for the church, and wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean they?
Yeah, right. Yeah, sorry, they is so confusing to me. It's supposed to be a plural, right? I'm really trying, honestly. I'm sorry, whatever.
Well, I mean, the historical use of they is as singular is actually older than the use of you as singular, and you don't keep calling people thou all the time, but regardless, it's just about respect, and I thought yous were all about respect and dignity.
Really? You really need to, get over yourself.
Whoa.
Well, I hope that you've learned how to behave in our community now. I hope that you understand that you're basically infringing on our First Amendment rights here, and you're basically doing exactly what Trump maybe is doing. So maybe think about that before you come being all fascist on us.
Well, you've made it really clear what is welcome in this community, and I know what to do from now on. I gave consent for my hair to be cut today, and I hope you feel the impact of that, the impact of some words said to us is the similar impact that you were seeing today. And now we will sing the children.
Our reflective reading this morning is a modern retelling of the story of the prodigal son. There once was a family, a father, a mother, and 2 sons. They had a rescue dog and a stray cat that turned up one day and decided to stay. They had a thriving farm, and the boys worked on the farm before and after school. The family regularly attended their local UU church. To all who looked at the family, they were the ideal family. The older child worked hard on the farm, joined the football team, and went hunting with his dad. The younger child also worked hard on the farm. However, football or hunting seemed awful to them. In fact, nothing that was typically boy things were fun. Baking and knitting with Mom was fun. When the younger son looked in the mirror, he saw a she. They grew their hair out, experimented with makeup, and used any money they could make to buy pretty clothes from the local Goodwill. Their parents tried to be supportive, but they complained about how difficult it was to get the pronouns right when they were asked to use they instead of he. The younger child overheard the parents talking about how they thought it was a phase and that he would get over it. Dad was worried that if he didn't toughen up, he would have a really hard life. They overheard their mom talking to a friend about how she was unsure if trans women belonged in her women's group. The older brother complained about a girl in school who wants to be a boy and join the football team. And the kids at school in their little town could be ruthless with the bullying. The younger child became increasingly depressed as they realized their family said they accepted them, but deep down they did not fully accept them. One morning, she woke up and decided she had to live her truth. Even though she knew her parents loved her, they did not truly accept who she was. She had been saving her money and slowly collecting the things she needed to live as her true self. When she left for school that morning, she went to the train station instead. She took Max into Portland. Here's the part the original parable doesn't speak to. The parents were distraught when they found her note in her room that night when she did not return from school. Why would the younger child leave? Hadn't they tried to call them by the pronouns they wanted? They even became willing to use the names the younger child kept changing to fit their changing gender identity. Maybe they didn't do enough to protect them from the bullying at school? But they knew he would have a hard life, and they wanted to make sure he toughened up. They spent time blaming the school, the other kids, even the church and media for encouraging the younger son to believe that they could just become a girl just because they wanted to. It couldn't possibly be because of them. They were the most liberal, welcoming people they knew. They were not transphobic or anything like that. The younger child was just difficult. They never understood how hard it was for the parents. They tried to be accepting, but they still didn't really understand. The parents did believe in the worth and dignity of all people. They truly loved their child. They vowed that if the child returned, they would welcome their daughter with open arms and celebrate all of her.
After hearing the modern version of the parable, did anyone change who they identified with more? Have you ever seen this acted out in your own life? Do you know someone, or have you ever felt unloved, uncared for, because of the way other people think about an integral part of your identity? Have you ever entered a home and felt that the people inside, your family, tolerated you rather than accepted you? All of you. The story identifies hidden reasons that the young person did not feel truly welcome in their own home. The people in their lives who were supposed to love, protect, and accept them didn't. And as Emmy showed us, how each small act of rejection took away a piece of who she was, leaving her alone, no longer herself. Our story shows that the child felt the same as they heard the parents and others questioning the rights of trans folks to exist authentically. They knew their identity was being questioned too. Can you imagine the pain of having someone you love and trust saying they truly support you to your face and then questioning who you are behind your back? Can anyone deny that that would be painful? I can imagine the prodigal child's life. Growing up in a liberal, religious, loving home, the parents seemed to welcome and respect everyone. They probably went to rallies for others, people's rights, taught the kids to volunteer at the local homeless shelter, and never missed a pride parade. They may have even been leaders in the church, worship associates, RE teachers. They would most likely never express their doubts and concerns about trans folks in front of their neighbors or friends. And yet, they did so within earshot of the one trans person who most needed their love and acceptance, not their confusion and judgment. How painful that must be. Thursday was Transgender Day of Remembrance. This year alone, since the last Transgender Day of Remembrance on 2024, we added over 366 names to that list of trans folks who were killed in violence. That does not even include those who were killed by suicide. And I say killed on purpose. Where can these people be safe? Where can they find true love and acceptance and a home? Our UU values call on us to hold each other in respect and dignity. Because of our values and our commitment to the queer community, people seek us out. They're looking for a spiritual home that accepts them exactly as they are. They're hoping to find people who love and respect them without questioning their right to be who they are or judging them on some made-up qualifications they need to meet to be truly whole. So what does this have to do with this, really? Well, for some people who have been disowned by their parents or unaccepted by them, they look for that love and acceptance from their spiritual home. There are those who I see nodding right now in our sanctuary today, and I see their recognition of that pain in their eyes. We are that spiritual home that promised them they would be welcome. Now imagine how hurtful it would be if we too questioned or judged them to be anything other than exactly what they tell us they are. If we were to question a woman who is trans's right to attend our women's group, or whether they should be allowed in sports for women, it would be incredibly painful. It would be adding pain on top of pain on top of pain. And it would go against our promise, our covenant to each other. The first thing anyone says when this comes up is that our values protect free thought and free speech. I have the right to think whatever I want and say whatever I want. I agree. You do. And I do. Everyone has the right to believe what they want. And our values protect people from harm, as does our covenant, which we agree to when we join the church and are held to, whether members or not, when on church property. I hope we can agree that the prodigal child was harmed by what they overheard. I saw almost everyone nodding when I asked the question earlier. So our own beloved church members would also be harmed by overhearing such things. Only makes sense, right? No one can change your mind. No one can tell you what to believe. I'm not here to do that. But we can ask you not to use your words and beliefs to harm others. We are an intentional, loving, and radically welcoming community. We try to live by Maya Angelou's quote, "When we know better, we do better." Here's the good news. If you've made a mistake and possibly harmed someone in these ways, it does not make you a mistake. It does not make you a bad person. No one wants you to feel ashamed. It may make you a prodigal child, though. And we all know what happened to the prodigal child in the original story. They were welcomed home and celebrated. Your intent to do better will be celebrated. You are loved, respected, and welcome here, all of you.